therefore people won't help them freely in the hells.
So people won't help them because they're already promised to another.
They won't help them because they've been promised freedom.
Oh.
And any contract here would be a breach of that.
It's like the Trade Federation or some shit.
Their freedom is enshrined within a contract that has been fulfilled and is being upheld, and it means then that they can't be, kind of bound into service.
Yeah.
Unlike us.
Yeah. You guys have no such protection, and arguably are now bound into the service of carrying boulders in exchange for assistance or an introduction to a man that might be able to help you.
I don't feel bound. I'm a free spirit.
Yeah.
I didn't write anything.
I'm as prepared as I'll ever be. So, whenever you guys are ready.
Are we all on the table?
We're in.
Yep.
And so you find yourselves upon this fetid bog, slightly higher ground now and away from swamp or stagnant river. But still, you now know in Minaros, third of the 9 hells. And threats lurk. You have encountered a party of, it may be recently dead. You have no idea how long these souls have been here, as indeed they do not. But they themselves are bound to service of a lord they have referred to as Dinolas, and have offered to take you that way, if you help them. In this case, with the dismantling of a wall and the carrying of rocks, the purpose of which has not been given to you yet.
He was building a new floor on his house.
Is that you were told that? Okay, cool. Yeah, that was exactly right. Yeah, fine. I couldn't remember. Yeah,
has not been given to you because.
Fine. Yeah. That's. I couldn't remember if I told you, so I just assumed not. Yeah. Dinolas needs a new level in his house. Yourselves, Momar the Giant, and the orcs, Buzz, Tongi, and Grish, have paused for a second outside of a round, windowless hut. The walls are wooden. Grass is thatched. Smoke gently wafts through a hole in the centre. The dead men, who thought perhaps that you would help them. Indeed, they encouraged it deeply, asked you, gave what little perhaps they had to give, have abandoned you now, wandering onwards away into the mists.
I do have a debuff spell.
Hmm?
Do have a debuff spell, but I need to be able to change spells to be able to do this.
Yep, you haven't got it prepped.
Never mind.
Yeah. What would you like to do?
Well, we're going in.
I think we should
Yeah, why not?
like to approach and knock on the gate.
There's
It
What, me,
was walled,
people?
was it? No.
There's a small fence, so I'm not going to draw things on, but there's a small ringed fence that's maybe 10 foot away from the hut in all sides. The grass within that fence is healthier looking for certain, more maintained. And you realise, looking around now, although you hadn't seen them on approach, there are chickens
Oh,
dotting around within the fence, certainly.
well, chickens.
Do they look healthy, Tor?
The chickens do look healthy.
Anyway, yeah.
There is 1 cockerel and 4 hens.
Lucky man, or something.
It's a lot of clucking.
Mm.
I'll give the gate a knock and call out in common. Hello in there.
The door, 10 foot ahead of you, wobbles, cracks open, just swings slightly ajar. But nobody comes out.
So that's our invitation.
Okay,
I'll open the
I
gate
suppose
and
so.
stroll in.
It swings easily.
I'll follow him. I'll turn
There are
to
2.
I'll turn to the old boys
Yeah.
and I say, might be best you stay out here, lads.
Yeah.
Try not to eat chickens. We don't want to piss the old bird off.
Can't eat chickens.
Not these ones.
Don't.
Nah.
Yeah.
Oh, and they relay that to the giant, and the giant grumbles a little.
Before I go in, I'd like to quickly cast non-detection on myself.
On yourself?
Cast some guidance on me.
Okay. Guidance, non-detection. Okay.
Fair enough.
And you walk the steps. The door is gently ajar. The outside, as I've said, is this kind of sickly, like 3/4 light, as you might expect an hour after dawn or before dusk. It isn't bright, and the cloud is so dense overhead that you could not discern a source. Inside here, then, to your eyes, feels dark and feels warm.
Can we see any sources of light or any creatures in here?
So as you push the door, there is a fireplace in the center, crackling away. Chained, flung off to one side, a cauldron, but more obvious, set to just the edge of the fire, is a kettle, just coming up to steam. The room, and it is simply one large room, is busy. There are workbenches, there are tables, there are odds and trinkets and dried, preserved things strung up, a whole shelf of bottles and another of jars. A straw bed at the far end. And with her back to you, just picking up a cloth to grip the kettle as it begins to steam and whistle, is a young woman.
How young?
You cannot clearly see her yet, but she is, to look at from the back, humanoid, wearing a dress that all of you would associate with a rural community. It comes down to her ankles. The pattern on it is simple, but it has some floral embroidery. She wears a white blouse. Her hair is bunned, dark brown. It is not
Gate, you miss.
the blonde hair of another young woman that you knew well, Gav. But as she turns, you wonder if there's a little resemblance. You'd estimate 22, 24, if you were to meet her on the street.
Okay, so Gax isn't going to throw off a roof.
Nah.
No,
Yeah,
she's
too
well
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, is it above the age of 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Oh, I hope we're not interrupting your tea.
Libations.
Oh.
Sorry.
Hello. No, quite the opposite. I heard you were
expecting
coming,
us?
and I set this on to boil.
Well, that's awful generous.
She carries the kettle to a table and pours water into 5 cups. There are... yeah, I'll invite Obadiah is first in the door, I think, to make an investigation check.
At disadvantage? Is it dark?
No,
Is
it's
it-
not. It's not dark. There's still light coming in the doorway. The room is lit by fire and also by a lantern at the side. There's no
Okay.
disadvantage here. You can see well enough.
19.
19 total. So I'll give you a couple of things there. So first of all, there are 3 other cups the size of yours and a large bowl set aside. 19's high enough. I'll spell that out. You imagine that might be for the orcs and the giant. Yeah, you can figure that out. But there is a cup for hers and one for each of you. They are, to your eyes, indistinguishable, and as they fill, you can see the leaves of some non-distinct herb to your eyes so far. Kind of begin to swell and steep. There's
So
quite a bit in there. This
she's
isn't.
poured tea for all of us. For
She is
all of them.
pouring. She is pouring water for each of you and herself into the cups with the herbs. She is leaving the other 4 off to one side.
Oh, we've got some colleagues outside. I'm sure they might fancy a drink. If you be, you know.
Yeah.
With the 19 high enough, Gav, you recognise the effects of a magical disguise, although you can't quite make out what's beneath it. There's a slight lag to her movement, a slight shimmer to the way the cloth sits in her hand doesn't match perfectly with her fingers.
Yeah. Well, I've read the old tales.
I don't think you know disguise self, but you've seen others cast it and you know what to look for in this case.
Yeah. Titus cast it a lot.
Oh yeah, so he did.
Yes, we thought our descending upon you with, especially with Murmur, our large friend in tow, might be a bit taxing for this room.
Tell the truth, which is... I wasn't actually expecting them, but...
Yes, there was some, I think, confusion with these 3 lost souls we saw down by the old tower. They've continued on carrying stones back to some village. They seem to be under the thrall of its lord.
Yes, the ones who led you here work for Sinolas.
Mm-hmm.
He's not the lord, but it's worth you speaking to, maybe. I don't bother myself with that. I'm a freelancer.
What's your name, young lady?
What is her name?
Oh,
Phaedra.
yes.
Pleasure to meet you.
How rude.
Jethro
I'm Obadiah.
Chadwick.
And now, yes. And she's looking directly more at you, Obadiah. I was expecting you. Mr. Black, indeed. But Jethro? And then... I knew of a turtle, but I was expecting a halfling to be with you.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No.
He dead.
Oh,
He's no longer with us.
Times change. You know,
Yeah, he
people
got-
come and
People
go
change.
in big explosions.
He kind of exploded. Yeah, he went. He was all over the place, to be honest.
Pretty sure I can find a bit of him somewhere in my
This
shelf.
is our
Yeah,
new friend, Grumnon. He's seems like a good lad, at least.
Pleasure.
Sam, give me an insight check.
Not very well. Right. Great. I told you my luck would be ruined. 9.
9. Okay. Her eyes kind of narrow at you. She's maybe not a happy surprise, but that's okay.
Yeah, so
Well-
our halfling friend got mixed up with the wrong crowd, and it didn't end well for him.
So I'm
You
sure
know
we'll
these
be
things
seeing
can-
him again soon.
Well, very probably. Although,
you might
I think
know the crowd. You might know the crowd.
yeah, it was probably from a different place than this, though.
But they come through. They come through.
Oh, well, in that case, maybe we'll see him again.
No, incidentally, yes, that's
What do you know about him?
only what another mutual acquaintance told me.
Huh?
She said,
She?
I believe you know her rather well, Mr. Black. But she was coming and going. Onwards, simply stopped by for tea. I had to give a couple more than 2 coins to the boatman to persuade him to stop. Doesn't like it, but, well, that's the way of things, and I'm hoping it'll be worth my while.
So, we've come looking for a way out of this place, as no doubt you would have guessed. Is that some sort of deal that could be struck with you?
She's nodding. Yeah, I can arrange that. Don't you worry. I have what you need, what's going on, what's going to happen next, and I can get you, Mr. Black, and, well, the 3 of you, away home. But please, come and sit. Come and join me for tea.
Well, I'd really appreciate it if we could negotiate my friends outside to be home as well. They got caught up in this mess with us, and they don't deserve, they don't deserve to be here. As far as I can tell.
She nods again. Says, let's have tea. Yourselves, I'm ready to help. For them, we might need to work out something extra. I'm not about to do it for free.
Okay.
Oh.
Mind if I take them some tea?
Oh,
We're awful parched.
don't you know, the kettle's empty.
Ah.
And she shakes it in her hand.
That's all right.
Best put another one on then, love.
Fair.
While
Of
this
course.
is happening, I'll pick up the tea and
I
give it a
am
sniff.
going to can I ritual cast purify drink and
So you're going to sit in front of her for 10 minutes casting a spell to purify the drink.
I
What?
do not.
Oh,
That's also
I'm in a neck.
yeah, we get that, but like it's also insulting to somebody you're about to negotiate with.
Yeah.
And it's going to take 10 minutes,
I'm
and
just
you're going to know what you're doing.
I'm just going to neck mine immediately.
You're going to neck yours?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I am immune to poison, so that
You are
may
immune
not
to
tell
poison,
you anything.
yeah.
You hope it's poison
Is it tasty?
and not something different.
It's. Have you ever drunk pine needle tea?
No. Sounds good though.
It's sharp like lemon, almost to the point of menthol.
Ooh.
It's quite a heady brew, and it's hot. I'm not going to ask for a save or anything like that, but there is a moment where you wonder whether you're going to keep it all down. You feel the heat in your throat and in your
Not going to taste
chest
anything
behind your
afterwards
sternum.
for a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Obadiah, as you bring it up to sniff, that same kind of flavour comes close to your nose. You feel your nasal cavities expand, like when you've eaten the strongest peppermint that the Goss family garden could grow.
I'll give it a little sip and set it aside then.
Please come and join us. Have a sip. Have a sip. Gromnon and Mr. Tortle, whose name I didn't catch.
I will neck it.
You're going to neck it as well? Yeah, absolutely. And again, as a dwarf, you're used to strong drink. You know how that is.
That's racist.
It is.
It is racism, but it's positive, so I'm alright with it.
I'll say this is Tor.
Wish her to meet you, and she will lift and drink from her own cup. We won't be able to have a proper conversation if you're going to sit there abstaining.
Is that aimed at
Maybe
Tor?
the man ain't
Tor,
thirsty.
I assume.
To Tor if he's not drinking.
Well,
He's weird about his food and drink.
Yeah. Of
No.
course.
He's doing this.
I get all my water from my food or the grass I eat and that. You know, don't
Grass.
normally drink hot drinks.
Looks like he's been
Not,
studying turtles. Or something.
Not you know, part of my lifestyle normally.
Now,
Take a sip if it will you know, set you at ease though.
Well,
It will.
I'll have it if you don't want it.
we're all having a drink together. I don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, but I have to say,
Being a little pushy.
I'd feel more comfortable
You know, in
if
this
we've all had a little tea.
we're in a very weird place that's all rotten and decayed and with a lot of strange people and things. And I don't trust much things around here. So, you know.
I'll drink.
I tell you, we're in
drink
hell.
this.
I don't think we're at a very good position to feel comfortable and at ease.
Would you like to see what's in it, Mr. Tor?
That would help, yes.
She stands, she crosses the room. She reaches to a shelf and grabs a small jar and brings it over. And here is you can just about make out the twig, but it is rich with budding kind of almost leaves. Twisting budded kind of growth on there that has been plucked at the exact right moment before. And it must be early spring, something like that, and preserved and dried. Give me a nature check. It's going to be a difficult one, but to see if you can work out what it is.
It's 7.
7 total.
It's not gonna do shit.
You run through your list of poisons. It isn't hemlock. It isn't belladonna. It isn't it isn't poppy seed. It isn't all these things that would be used for killing a person or paralyzing them or anything like that. Anything that you've thought of. It isn't any of those, but you don't know what it is.
Okay.
She's had some, your friends have had some, and they're all still quite upright.
She might be immune.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a sip though.
You'll have a sip.
Take a sip in front of her. Sorry.
Yeah. Very good.
There's no effect out or weird feeling after a few minutes. Drink the rest.
As I say, you have a sip, you have a drink, and you feel again it is like your nasal cavities are expanding. You're opening up. It's certainly nice to have something warm go down your throat. Yeah, I know.
Cock.
But Phaedra, the so-called witch out here in the bog, sits here at the table now where she had poured from the cups and places her hands flat and says, well, shall we see about getting all of you home then?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
That'd be lovely.
Well now, it just so happens I've been observing what's been happening on your home plane for some time now. A little while. And I've found it to be awfully unprofitable. In which case, I'm eager to be helpful in a couple of ways. I have a number of gifts laid out which will gladly go with you. And I'll do what I can to get you home. Those beings outside, though,
Which?
we'll
The
have to
orcs?
work. Yeah. I'm wondering
And the
what you
drawing.
can do for me. I'll tell you what. You came in a little way to the south, didn't you? In the lowlands,
Yeah.
by the water.
I'm just going to assume that we did, Jed.
You did. Yes,
Yeah,
you came in by the water. And did you get a glimpse of what lurks there?
Yeah, big fucking
Ordinary
squid.
glimpse.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, the tentacle monster that
Yeah.
grappled my face.
That's made doing business awfully difficult for the last century or so.
Yeah.
Oh, how so?
Well, there aren't many on these shores. There are only so many secrets I can buy and sell here. But getting them up and down the river, well, the boatman simply needs somewhere to land. And there aren't many who are willing to sit and wait on the shore for a lift, knowing that the shallow waters might be, a real threat to them. Once it's out and anywhere slightly faster flowing, the thing's less and less of a threat. The boat itself is well defended, but the rowboats, the small boats, the little dinghies, oh, they do suffer. You're all capable types. I'm sure you could help with that.
I mean,
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I
reckon
can't see
I
a
can.
reason why not.
Well, now. The tea is warm. Those of you who have finished your cups will feel the warmth sitting gently in your stomach. Phaedra takes another sip. And another sip. And you wonder then for a second. It's Jethro and it's Gromnan who have drunk their full cups. Obadiah's had a little. Tor's had a little. You wonder for a second if the smoke is stinging your eyes. There is some smoke coming off the fire.
Stare at the fire intently.
You may be finding it hard to keep them open. You do feel tired. But Phaedra says, now, in terms of getting yourselves home, I simply have a few things to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Black, you'll be the best person for this job. I have a brooch. And she stands, she walks across the room, and she plucks a ruby set into silver, rather than steel, almost like a cage-like assembly. And she places it on the table ahead of you. Keep this with you. Wear it. That's all I have to ask of you. I'm more than happy to help. Oh, and I have a few other things as well, Mr. Black. I knew that you were coming, and so I took the liberty of preparing. She goes to another desk, pulls open a drawer, grabs some parchments, and lays a few things out on the table. there she has spells written. So Gav, you will gain scrolls, and you can convert these scrolls to your spell book when you get chance at a rest. In there are minor illusion, Tensor's floating disc,
Mm.
phantasmal force, and contact other plane.
Oh.
Well, that one could come in handy.
This one, she says, and she taps at it. You'll be able to get me any time. Promise that you will. Please promise that you will.
I'm more interested in this and the length of time I'm expected to wear it. Pointing at the ruby.
It'll just... It won't mean anything to anybody else. It's just a matter of... a symbol of our friendship. It'll help you remember me. And the help that I've done for you. I don't mean day in, day out. Just, formal occasions. Wear it to court if you're ever going.
Sus.
Well,
Do we know
Or a
that?
wedding.
so I've heard of stories, and I've seen with my own eyes the slow influence of people from this place on folks from our realm. And quite frankly, what you're asking for is making me a little unwilling to pay.
I promise you, with my heart of hearts, Mr. Black, I'm nothing like those devils that seek to pull the strings of your kingdom.
Well then, can we see what you really are?
She smiles now, sweetly at first, but a little wider than maybe you'd think that her mouth was able to go. And she nods. I'm a little less pretty, but of
That's
course.
okay.
A woman's worth is not just her appearance.
That's nice to be told, Mr. Chadwick. Give me a persuasion check. Either one of you, or you can do it with advantage.
What, me?
Either Obadiah or Jethro there. I'm inclined to say
I'll
Obadiah.
allow the talkative man to do it.
Yeah.
Okay. With advantage?
Yeah, because Jethro's helping you. Why not?
17.
17 total. She smiles. She nods. She points to a dressing screen propped up near the bed, and it clacks open, shielding the bed, making it invisible. Making the bed, screened,
yeah.
so to speak, hidden. And stands and goes to walk away from it. As he stands and goes to walk, she reaches that edge, that part of the room. The fire crackles, an ember spits. Jethro, you are not in that room. You are on a precipice, in darkness. You can feel the wind whipping below you, for there is a great drop. So great that you can barely see the ground. But you are not alone. You grip in your hand a wrist. So small that you worry that you will not be able to hold it, that it will slip between your fingers. The wind pulled. You think for a second as your attention is drawn of where you came from. You wonder how you got to where you are, for you can scarcely chart the course. Your heart, your orc's heart, beats, and the hand slips between your fingers and falls. The figure itself is small, lithe, and you think for a second that it can only be an impossibly young innocent. But then you look down at the broken form below you, and you see a friend who you thought you might have been able to save, but instead fell while your attention was elsewhere. Gromnon, you drank from the full cup, and you feel its heat within you. I'll come back to Gromnon in a second.
Hot drink.
Obadiah, you only took a small sip, and so your senses drift, but are replaced predominantly with a thought of home. That's what Phaedra's promised you, a chance to go home. But you wonder what will be waiting for you. The last letter you sent back home was to the Lord and Lady Goss, informing them of the death of their daughter. And you wonder what effect that will have. And you wonder how long it will feel as though you have been gone.
Feels like months.
It's been 3 weeks, yeah? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tor, cautious.
So back in a sec, guys.
Yeah? Tor, who barely sniffed at the drink. Your senses do not go as such, but slow and mire, and all that grips you, all that takes you, is a feeling of you have missed something. You have left something behind. Some responsibility. Some promise that you have made, maybe. That you have broken. But Gromnon, you are filled now with warmth, and you are surrounded by holy light. Gromnon, you cannot be touched in this place. You know this for certain, for you are yourself the one that touches and reaches out and has the chance to change the world. Gromnon, you are guided by a divine force, and that force is within you, and it is yours to command. Gromnon, you are guided by blinding light, and you shall blind any force that looks down upon you. The energy is yours. Every single choice that is made is to be yours, and yours alone. You are able to suffer, you are able to feel suffering, but it does not touch you. For Gromnon, you are special, you are chosen.
Gromnon the Chosen, everyone.
Hell yeah, brother.
Enjoy.
And the crackling spit of the log upon the fire settles, the embers crumple. Phaedra walks, you see her shadow, her silhouette maybe, behind the gridded screen. And what enters is a young woman. What emerges, dressed the same in a simple blouse, a plain farmer's skirt. Walks like a young woman, but has the head, the hands, the hair closer to that of a dog, of a jackal perhaps. And she bows deeply and says, "Here, let our cards be on the table, and our secrets be revealed."
Finally.
Nice to meet you.
So let's talk about a proper price now.
I'm quite sincere.
Oh, I know. And why don't you have a seat and listen to a proper rebuttal? Because as an independent in this place, with contacts or not, the river's your lifeline.
Truly.
So we will allow you keep your scrolls. If you wish, I could take the contact of the plains one. I'll be leaving your amulet where it is. And we will take care of this creature that has come to nest in your area. And then you will send us on our way with enough coins for the boatman or whatever it takes.
Do not mistake yourself, Mr. Black. If I wished the creature suffocated, dismembered, if I needed it done, I would have done it. It is worth a little, so that I may tender a service. But in truth, whatever you do here, it will return in some time. What I offer you here is an opportunity to grant me ease with those. And she points to the door, she points to where the orcs are standing. What I offer you here, and she places her finger on the ruby in the silver cage, is an opportunity to undo what has been happening in your mortal kingdom. To overturn the secret order that has wreaked upon and loomed over the kingdom. It is, I will admit, a match thrown upon the log pile, but I must insist.
But if you must insist, you must explain to me what it does.
You have the means to work it out. You're an intelligent man. I don't fear spells
but
here.
only, well, in that case, I'll pick it up and slowly start to cast Identify. It'll take about a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. So talk us through, what does it look like? You've talked to us about Obadiah casting Identify before. Do you want to paint that visually, Gav?
No, because I've entirely forgotten what he did before. What he will do is it'll probably levitate in front of him in some sort of hexagrammic thing with like sigils floating around, and he'll be maybe Tony Starking them, back and forth to reveal different elements and parameters of the device. That is being examined. Could have been entirely different last time. I don't know.
But that's okay. Magic works differently in different places. And then with you doing that, now I'm going to give you quite a bit of information because you're doing that regardless.
What I want to do is also cast Detect Magic during this time. And she'll probably know I'm doing it, but so maybe after Identify, I'll also cast Detect Magic. Primarily on the device, but it will be active, so I can look around and see
absolutely.
Stuff,
What I will invite before you do that is, as part of the identify, to tell you how much information I'm going to give you. Probably an Arcana check.
Sure.
Maybe just investigation if you'd rather, but
I think they're both the same.
Hmm.
Yeah, they're both +9, so 17.
17, pretty good. Okay. While Obadiah is doing this, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to do?
Cast dominate person. No.
You can be confident at this point that this individual is not a person in the sense that it matters for that spell.
Okay.
With her having revealed herself to be some kind of jackal-headed, being.
Beastie.
Well, that's lucky then, really, isn't it? No, I didn't cast that.
I'll tell you for free. Anything for Jethro?
Nah. Let's see how this
Just
goes
good
down.
listening.
And Tor, are you happy to just be watching?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Just sit back, watch.
Phaedra watches also, and actually, as you are all sat, she leans towards Jethro.
Hmm.
Says, "So I understand that your halfling friend, dearly departed, came into possession of a rather high quality knife.
Oh, yeah.
Do you happen to have it with you?"
I don't. I don't think.
Which means that, and she'll point at Tor, you maybe then? I'd be willing to buy it for a high price.
Would you buy it for our freedom of this place without any of the other strings attached?
Now there is a question.
Does anyone actually have it?
We have it. The royal we.
Yeah.
I don't.
Definitely not me. I want to carry it.
I am in control of the royal inventory, and I don't have it written down. I remember somebody wrapping it up in a
I
rag or
remember
something.
that.
Yeah.
Have it.
You have it, Tor, do you?
I think Tor's got it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Gav, what comes around to you? Now, so I'm just reading.
And just to make you aware, I have books on binding and travelling, and I've also had in my possession a ring with a spell frozen in it.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of aware of the concept of beings or magic's being frozen into spells, and obviously the metal looks like a cage to me, so
quite certainly. What comes through to you? First of all, you're looking through what's popping up. And the first things that pop up through the identify spell across that minute are what it seems to be. You are looking at a ruby. It is, the cage made out of silver. This is, an investigation check, a mundane investigation check, you're certain, would only learn that. But then what you learn fairly quickly is that the spell that rests upon it is a particularly high quality polymorph.
interesting.
Hmm.
And it is looking into it.
On the brooch, this is.
The brooch, the ruby brooch in the silver cage, that it is likely to be a creature of this realm itself that has been polymorphed into the brooch and trapped within it.
Wild.
You rolled quite highly on the. It was an Arcana check, wasn't it?
Yeah, 17.
So you can tell that the spell, rather than it being a one and done thing, the spell is being maintained. Some magical effect is continuing to work on it. So it could potentially be dispelled, and therefore whatever creature was transformed here would revert to its original form.
Wouldn't putting it in a moonbeam potentially?
It isn't a shape changer in that sense. It is a creature that has been polymorphed, and that's different than, say, a lycanthrope or a creature that has a shape-changing ability of itself. I know what you're getting there, Vic. Definitely, that's a good kind of question to ask and thing to clarify. But it is not. So creatures that are wear something, quite often they have a shape change ability. Polymorph is different than that in a couple of ways. Principally because it almost certainly hasn't done this to itself, and it almost certainly can't get itself out. It's likely to be that whatever is in there is not currently conscious, it's not currently aware of what's going on.
Thinks it's a rock.
Yeah.
So what is it? I will say, placing.
It's quite mindless, quite without agenda. The thing is simply destructive.
And yet, worth to take you seriously. You want this thing released at some official ceremony or in court or at some wedding. How is this going to improve your business in our realm or with our realm or however you interact
More
with
importantly, how is it going to save our realm?
Because the powers that be, here as above, so below, are corrupt at their core.
Well, I know Highcleve's a fucking twat, but
you
speak
seek
clearly.
Down here, you seek to become more corrupt to solve the problem. Always one-upping each other.
Just looking to learn a little, get a little smarter. That's all I want. But it gets in my way. The ones below, the ones above.
I assume a place like this isn't the ultimate expression of this plane. This is some ring of hell of mediocrity. This isn't the fire and brimstone. This isn't the devil we dealt with before.
Quite certainly not. It is a place of suffering, but no. The ones who were making friends with your friends, your dear girl Caitlin, I won't speak his name, if I have to be perfectly honest. But he's the one working and pulling strings upstairs. He's the one writing marks on the royal skin.
But he's not the only one, is he?
But he's not the only one. Even my dear neighbours, not your erstwhile patron, Sinalas, but Bokala, here on this plane, trying to poke his fingers into the pie. But he's not a real player. But no, you'd have to go a couple of layers down, at least. To find out what's really going on. You are here relatively safe. Bored, perhaps. But it's a fine place to read. Much less fighting here on Minoros than, well, as above or below.
Imagine so. Well, gentlemen, what do you think? Taking this thing back isn't acceptable to me.
Seems like a pretty bad idea. Big, powerful, dangerous thing. Nah, we got enough of them to deal with.
Enough alone that he isn't there.
Very well. I'm wondering then.
What about this dagger?
Hmm. Why does a being like you want such an item?
Oh, I'm not saying that I want it.
Be a nice
Absolutely,
bargaining chip, I assume.
certainly could.
What is it, a shard of this thing's power?
It's got his hair on it. Caitlin knew it as soon as she saw it.
Well, she always was smart, but she was greedy and lazy. And that's what led her to
What's
this.
the hair got to do with it?
Part of a person's body is a powerful tool in some magics.
Particularly us of a fiendish persuasion. And sadly, I must include myself in that demographic. That
I
will,
think Gromdom actually knew that.
yeah, that knife will cut any one of us better than any steel your dwarf people can forge. But it's maybe the only thing that'll really put him down when it comes to it.
You keep playing the pronoun game. What's his name?
I won't say it. I'm
believe
sorry.
names have value here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chadwick, but I won't say it. I simply won't
Why?
be drawn. Because I do not wish to invite in the very being against which I conspire.
Oh. What? Like, it'll come here if you say it.
So
The devil and he shall appear, etc., etc.
I'm going to point my finger towards her and speak to her telepathically.
Mhm.
Say it. Think
Give
it.
me.
Those are the words I'm going to say.
This sounds like a persuasion roll, Sam.
Yeah. I'll rephrase that to if you won't say it, then think it. Many. 24.
24.
25.
Words don't necessarily come back, but images flash. A pale man, drawn out, as though he has not eaten a meal, as though he has not seen the sun, as though he has not tasted wine upon his lips in many, many moons. Black hair slicked back. He dresses plainly. That face comes to you. And around him, truly then, burning hot flame, burning bright white, and legions of powerful foes.
Sounds fun.
He's looking for us even now, perhaps. And if you really can do what I'm hoping you'll do, don't doubt that you'll get his attention.
Sure, there'll come a point when we'll be seeking his attention.
Don't doubt it.
But
I
it's
don't
not
think
until
we
we're
can lose this
prepared
dagger.
and ready.
Listen to me ramble away. If you're not going to accept my gift, I'm open to counter-offers. But I'm open to favors. I'm open to stories, secrets, spells, sundries. You know, a tame owlbear cub, perhaps.
How do you know about the Owlbear Cub?
No,
I don't even know. I don't even know about it, so I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, Gromnon doesn't know about that.
What about some sky metal? I don't believe it exists in this realm.
She narrows
It
her
can be
eyes a
used
little.
to
Yeah.
bind creatures And in fact, it has successfully in the past bound creatures of your nature in our realm.
How much are we talking?
We have 2 bars, about yay size.
2 bars. Yay size. Give me an insight check, Gav.
This I'm not so good at. A very poor result of 6.
She's rubbing her chin. She reaches over and rolls up the canvas and the what's the word I'm looking for? The spells. Very well. It seems like you don't have much else. You can keep this, though. This one really is a gift. And she taps down the contact of the plane.
Cool.
Very well.
Maybe we can send her a present by banishing sign for her.
It's still just the 4 of you, though. For those 2.
Oh, I really want to take my mates back.
Yeah. Well,
They've already
we've
made their
discussed that.
deal.
No, they didn't make
They're
it.
not going to get
It was
home.
made for them.
They're free beings. And as much as I'd love to step on Focalor's toes...
Who?
Focalor, he's not quite lord of this realm, but some kind of archduke or another.
Is he the one that they've made a deal with, or
He's...
one of them made a deal with?
It's his handwriting that hovers over their heads, that's for sure.
Huh.
I know, you don't know what I'm talking about, but it really is very literal. Once you get the sight for these things.
So what? We're not giving her the dagger then?
I don't think we
We
should.
can't- If we can plan to use the dagger, it would benefit her and us.
I think giving the dagger out to her could be a big mistake.
Yeah, I think a mistake is the word I was looking for.
Fucking hanging on to it's a big mistake, but yeah, giving it to another planar witch, probably not. In hell.
Who wants to kill the demons and take over stuff?
I mean, she might be better. Might be a better option.
What about for the price of the 3 outside? I teach
The
you a way
4.
to shield this. The 4 outside, I teach you a way to shield this place. So that no scrying eyes can look. Would that be of value to you?
Pardon me.
I'm going to make a roll. Because I know what you're talking about there. That's not a spell
Yeah,
that's on the list.
Morganon's private
Yeah.
sanctum.
I can.
But I'm going to... Yeah.
And I
I
think if you cast it... Sorry.
I
If you cast it every day on the same spot, it's permanent.
for a year.
Yeah.
I could teach you how to jump up in the air and kick someone 3 times before you hit the ground.
Oh, but that I could.
You,
Here we go.
you could.
Oh,
You can.
Stretching is vitally important.
Yeah.
Once you got that, yeah, flexibility is all right.
We have a deal, Mr. Black. A little knowledge. A little trade. But here's what I'll ask. You do the first casting for me. Just outside. I'll come and watch. And then I'll repeat it.
Fair enough. The coins for the boatman? Is that your plan?
No, I don't think you'll need any such thing.
How shall we be getting back, if you don't mind me asking?
I've a little covered something just up the road. Come on now, let's be going. And she stands, claps her hands. The lantern and the candles around the room go out. The fire in the centre stays lit, but the light is dimmed.
Okay, I'll stand up and leave.
We'll all go together. How's that?
Yeah.
What?
Weird way to word it, but yeah, we'll all go together.
Cool.
She has taken the 2 bars of sky metal. You haven't seen her leave the table, but they aren't there anymore.
What?
And she stands and walks to the door and lets you all leave. Holds it open.
Thanks, love. So yeah.
The stink of rotten grass, of mouldy old cabbage, growing mushrooms, greets you again as you exit the hut. One of the orcs is shivering. Another is digging away at the earth with its piece of metal that it had been wielding as a club.
It's alright, guys. We'll be getting out of here soon enough.
The giant was sat cross-legged. We're leaving.
We've made a deal with Lady Phaedra here. She'll be able to send us all back.
The jackal's smile
Included.
persists. It's nice of you to say that, Mr. Black. Do you like being called a lady sometimes?
I was raised right. And I'll start casting Mordekainen's Private Sanctum.
As he starts casting, I will use my Cloak of Billowing to make it look more epic.
Great, excellent. The spell morphs, it shimmers. She's rubbing her chin. She watches the black miasma, the kind of mirage form around it. She rubs her chin and says, "Oh, there is a shame. It's a shame to have to obscure things in such a way. It's a little blunt instrument, but she's listened to you. She's watching what you're doing. Scratching away at a pad of parchment that's come from a pocket. The spell takes a couple of minutes to cast.
Sorry, I can disable the vision impairment of it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be totally clear, but then people can see into it.
Yeah.
And I'll probably be explaining this as she's making her comments, if that's possible while casting.
I think so. Let's say it is in this case. The spell takes a couple of minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
Yeah. And so again, the 10 minutes go by. Some of you are beginning to feel hungry again, just creeping back in. Those good berries feel a long time ago. But the day is going on.
How long ago were they?
It's been... Did you have them during the long rest?
I guess so.
I think so.
I think...
More than half a day, I think.
Tor, you'll have cast them before or during the long rest, before the end of the long rest, so as not to...
Before the end, yeah.
Yeah, before the end of the long rest. And so effectively you'll have had them before sleeping. You'll have slept a little while. And then, yeah, it's been about half the day again now.
They last for 24 hours.
They
were
do.
saying,
And
folks.
so you are not feeling exhausted, ravenous, fatigued. But hungry is a reasonable way to feel.
Mm.
Certainly missing a good meal.
Mm.
But Phaedra watches Obadiah finish the spell, settle, disperse some parts of the illusion. She blinks a few times, rubs her eyes, says, yes, that seems to be working quite well. And so I just do it again and again, maintain it like that.
Every day for a year, and it should be permanent in this area. The same area you have to choose every day.
Only a year, goodness me, aren't we lucky?
Well, considering you have a home, could be worth investing in. And I have a spare one. I'll hand her a sheet of lead, a piece of opaque glass, and a kind of a rip off some cotton or cloth. And then I've some powdered chrylosite.
Okay.
And I'll hand them to her. You'll need these components to cast them. Various components for various effects, but if you want the whole thing, there you go.
Well, now, it is I who must thank you for your generosity, Mr. Black. But, onwards we go, and she begins not walking north the way the dead men had gone, but west, towards Tor's part of the table.
Are we going on a marshy walk?
Oh,
Are we killing that squid?
No.
No, good. I mean,
it's
not good. I
nothing
like
at all.
fire.
It's, yeah.
I mean, we could kill that squid.
Wasn't in the bargain.
True.
The ground, if anything, ascends. You gain a little altitude. And after a little squelching, a little time on horrid, bubbling tufts of grass, Phaedra hops and begins hopping from spot to spot. She's a touch ahead of you, only a few steps. But Jethro perhaps is next, and you realise what is happening is that she is stepping from rock to rock to rock. You have here about the closest thing to a path that could persist in such a stark, featureless.
Watch your footing, boys. I prance like a gazelle over the rocks.
And the ground grows a little higher, and then in the clouds, on the edge of the mist, a new dark shape grows. Not the boulders or the rocks or the cut stone brick of the tower in which you found the dead men, but a cairn, a simple pile of stones, many no bigger than a fist, at most as large as Obadiah's head. And Phaedra stops there. And she points. One each. Even you, largest of all. She looks up at Murmur. She speaks this in common, and Murmur, as far as you know, does not speak common. But he understands what's being said here.
Pick up rock, big man.
Pongi and Grish and Buzz and Murmur all make their way and take one stone each from the cairn.
Follow suit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same.
Yes.
Now, I do have a simple question. Are you all going to the same home?
Yes.
All right. Well,
The
I think
Sky
it would be best to
prime
let her know
material-
who's home first.
prime material plane.
that's
or
good
whatever
enough
it's
for me.
called in this.
And a rough location might help as well, you know. Don't end up waking up in a fucking sea.
I've all I need now, Mr. Tor. You'll be perfectly safe in a place that I'm sure you'll know as home. Just send your stone skyward and watch wherever it lands. And she points up at the air.
I'll give mine a little toss up into the air. No, sorry, I'll do mine last.
You're going to do yours last? Okay.
Oh, I'll eat mine up. Let's go. Hoot.
You send your stone skywards. Yeah, it goes up. The stone ascends straight, steady. It's a good weight for throwing. It touches, it licks the edge of the cloud, just shimmers a tiny bit, and comes down, and those around you watch the stone fall to where Jethro, a second before, had stood. For he is not there anymore.
Sheesh.
Right.
Well, that's
Quick
a neat
to
trick,
it.
isn't it?
Hmm.
It'd be
Did
very
so.
tempted to sit down and fucking do commune with nature to find out if this is a planar rift. Okay.
And upon seeing this, Buzz Toetaker, the orc, steps forth, grips a good rock, shaped almost like an arrowhead, flings it upwards, spins. Himself, the other orcs look up, and the stone comes down, sticks into the ground, true to form, like a spearhead. But the orc is no longer there to catch it. Phaedra is smiling her jackal smile as two other orcs and a giant do the same. It's all you need to do. She reminds you, I've got them all in sync. Don't worry, they won't be waiting for you at the other end. But if there's 8 to travel, then 8 need to travel.
Come on, guys. I'll go last.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Gromnon throws his stone. I imagine Gromnon's just a guy to just give it a light toss into the air, see how little he can do.
Yep, exactly that.
And your eyes catch the stone as it comes maybe to the height of Obadiah's chin. And Obadiah, you cannot watch Gromnon. You watch the stone instead hit the grass where Gromnon had stood a second before.
Alright. Well, I'm gonna check, make sure that dagger is still wrapped up and on my body.
It is.
I will
It is where you have put it last. You have kept it.
throw the stone into the sky and say bye-bye,
You're sending it all the way upwards?
guess.
Yeah.
As far as his little arms will throw it. With his,
Yeet.
0 plus in strength. Minus.
You throw the stone. You are not there to catch it when it lands. Phaedra here now is smiling. She is happy to see you go, happy to be able to help. She pats at the chest of her blouse, and Obadiah, you see, as the fabric ripples, 2 hard metal shapes tucked away.
Make good use of those.
Oh, they'll be very useful. Or at least, they'll get a good price.
And make sure not to cast what I've thought you every day. Otherwise this won't work. And I'll wave the scroll to her. The contact of the planes.
Only when I'm home.
Farewell. And I'll just give it a flick like a toss of a coin over my shoulder.
And it is as though you blink, Obadiah. And again, you're becoming used almost to this dislocation, this loss of space for yourself. It's happened a few times now, more times than days lately. But the next place, when your eyes open again, you find yourself. It's very familiar indeed. You awaken in a bedroom. Not poorly furnished. A decent-sized bookshelf, a writing desk, a single bed for a single man. Although the architecture would indicate that it is inside a much larger, grander house, the room is dusty. And there are boxes piled near the door, sized for spears, swords. It is
Do I
night.
sense this place?
You do. This is your bedroom, Obadiah, within House Goss. And around you are your three companions, who have not been in this bedroom before.
Where the fuck are we?
Oh, this is my rooms in the Goss Manor. Where are our boys? We have to make sure if they've appeared here, they'll probably be attacked on sight.
And outside, where your room looks out upon the courtyard,
By a bunch of children, probably.
you hear a shriek and a shout and a snarl.
Jethro, and I'll open the window
What?
for Jethro to get out and sort things out.
Wait, what? So out?
You want you
A
to run
giant
out?
and three orcs have just appeared in a noble house courtyard in the middle
Oh
of
yeah,
the
yeah,
night.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, yeah. I'll jump out. And... Right,
and
best
now
behaviour,
a half
boys.
orc's going to jump out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just quickly get my shit together and fucking charge out the door and try to get down to the courtyard as soon as possible.
I need to urinate.
And if I know the
Yep.
captain of the guard's name, I'll be shouting his name.
Yeah, it's Willard, Captain Willard. You've met him.
Oh, yeah.
Tor and Jethro have met Captain Willard.
And
Yeah.
Willard Dafoe.
He
Yep. Why not?
sorted us out with horses, I think, quite a while ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right,
Quite
yeah,
some
Pete.
time ago.
I'm
6
going
months
to
ago.
look out the window at the orcs and then look up at the sky and go, fucking hell, that's a long way up. It's been a while.
I'm gonna get a drink.
Absolutely. Likewise. Getting the drink.
Wow. Well, at least it won't take us age to get back up to thingy. Go there.
Right, sorry, back. Let's go. What are we doing?
It's me, Mario.
Wait for
Wait
the
for
edge.
everyone else a sec.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We
And we're all here, are we?
are at
I'm back now.
Okay.
Goss house.
Right.
Back
Right.
to the start.
Yes.
Okay.
Get to
Just
tell his
clear
lord.
your figures for the moment.
You can tell his lordship about his poor daughter, and then demand to be paid.
We found her.
Yeah. We might want to handle that one quite delicately.
Diplomatically.
Well,
Do you also have writ of the king as well? So
tact is my middle name. Tact and
Is it?
delicacy and
As
diplomacy.
in,
tact and kid killing.
I thought it was tactical.
Tactical kid killing.
Tactical fist application is my middle name.
Well, that's what I heard.
Yep. Burp.
So there's a commotion in the courtyard.
Okay.
Well,
Right,
like a
that's what's happening.
25-foot tall giant or whatever the hell size they are.
Yep.
Just appeared.
Cool your boots, gentlemen. It is I, Jethro Chadwick. I have returned. These are our friends.
So,
Also, I am
appearance-
friends with Obadiah if you don't remember me.
Yeah, they met you once, like
Yeah.
a month ago.
Longer than
Fuck
that,
is
I
this
think.
guy?
Maybe longer than that.
and where's Ronan?
I'm on my thing. You want me?
So we've buildings on one side of this or more?
Yes. So the effectively, you guys are 2 stories up.
Like
The
buildings back
larger,
here?
yeah. So this is all building. So you are looking inwards into the courtyard. The larger rectangle is awning, which let's say is 10 foot below you, and then the inside rectangle is ground, which is 10 foot below that again.
Oh yeah, I've just leapt out.
I'm staring out the window. Wherever the window is.
And I'm dashing through the house.
Is this the
In one
window?
horse
It's going to be the
open
window
sleigh.
now.
I will join Sam looking out the window for.
Yeah, that looks like a window. That's Obadiah's room. So let's draw that on. I'm going to keep my pink up, but that's, yeah, the confines of Obadiah's room. You've got a doorway here. So I will not draw out the entire internal layout of the house, but let's say if you're going full pelt, it'll take you 2 turns to get. If you're going out this door, it'll take you 2 turns to get.
Oh, so there's more house on this
Yes, so
side?
so this is a door into house. This is all house. This is all house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you are looking out into the courtyard of the house. The house is built around it.
Well, looking out the window and initially seeing these figures, do I see like guards pointing spears? Because that might persuade me to jump out the window.
You've heard a woman scream.
Was it the lady of the house?
You know from experience that, especially in the evenings, a lot of the staff will come out here to.
Oh, well, if it's only the riffraff, that's fine. I'll run through the house.
Yeah. Yeah, the house staff will kind of come out here to, hang up their own personal laundry, smoke,
Yep.
kind of rest a little bit, because it's an area that's not it's not their servants' quarters, but it's certainly not workspace either. There is a reprieve onto a kind of, let's say the kitchen door is at this end, and then this end is closer to the kind of front of the house. So there is, let's say, road out here,
Okay.
and the sea is over here, is in this direction. The costs, if you recall, are associated with the port and the docks.
Yep.
And so their house is relatively close to the sea. They don't own most of the land in the town, but they own the important parts.
Don't need to own it if you can tax it.
But you have heard, as I say, a woman scream, a door clatter. Jester, you have jumped out of the window.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to roll initiative immediately.
I might even have opened it first. I'm not sure.
Yep,
I
sure.
opened
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good.
yeah. Obadiah has opened the window.
I opened the window.
Yep. I got the Jaffa cakes.
Okay. What do my elf
Just-
eyes see?
Jethro, you are looking out. You recognise certainly these orcs, this giant. The night is cold. It is certainly colder than the place from which you have just come. There is a smell of sea air and a kind of cloud cover that makes for a dark night. On a time like this, the air feels cold, like it might rain. The awning area has some torches, and so the area is dimly lit. But you are functionally, in a kind of dirt courtyard that belongs to a grand house. There is a cart kind of in pieces. It's been dismantled. One of the wheels is being respoked. There are a couple of other men. What I'll do is I will grab pieces for them.
Yeah, I feel like they will have been what I noticed first.
Yeah. So there are 2 men. Stood over here. 3 men, sorry, right, they are stood under the awning, so they're not on top of it. They are looking alarmed. You have heard this door rattle.
Okay.
The orcs look as though they are gearing up to fight, perhaps.
Stand down, boys, in Orcish. This is a place of friends. The tall, skinny, ugly human works here.
I'm not that tall.
He is ugly though.
Tall for a human.
You can make me a persuasion check. That doesn't sound terribly difficult. They've gotten to know Obadiah.
And me. Hell yeah.
Certainly, yeah.
A bunch.
Yep.
Well, it's 19.
Okay. The 3 round on you. They look around to you.
Trust me.
They look settled, maybe. Yeah.
Murmur, you are free in Orcish. We are far, and I'll continue to speak. We are far from the lands of those dwarves. They do not keep slaves here.
Hopefully.
Well, I'd better not, or I'm going to beat the shit out of Obadiah. I'll try.
Thing is, he is stuck in a courtyard with house all around him.
Don't say that. You'll give Jed ideas.
He's used to enclosed spaces.
Yeah, but getting him out might be trouble.
Is there open
that's
sky
what I mean.
above his head?
There is open sky above his head.
Murmur,
If he
look
stayed
up.
out
Is it
there
night
for a
time? You
night-
said.
It is nighttime.
Murmur, look up. Skylights.
Yeah. It's cloudy.
Oh fuck. Well, trust me, they're there behind the clouds.
And then he looks down on you, this stone giant who's spent his entire life maybe underneath a mountain, looks down at you, and there is a smile on the face. It's cloudy.
Yes, it is.
The sky.
When it's cloudy, sometimes it rains.
He's not a fucking
Rain.
idiot.
Well, yeah, but he's not seen it.
But if he's lived underground, yeah.
Yeah.
Water from sky.
Also,
It's
he
great.
could be an idiot.
Yeah, that's true. He could be an idiot.
I'm just speaking in like fucking toddler Orcish because he doesn't speak it very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, he doesn't speak good Orcish. He speaks enough to get by, you
Yeah.
know, with these others, but
Are
Obviously.
these men seen
don't know.
me? Or seen everybody?
they have, and they are trying to sidle away without being noticed too much.
Gentlemen, we
Oh,
mean you no
fuck.
harm.
I should
You
be
sure?
nearly there by this stage.
We are
Yeah,
with
I think-
Obadiah. You know him.
There's a glint of recognition on their face. And yeah, Obadiah, by this point,
Yeah, I'll come bursting in.
you know the ways through the house. It is nighttime. Most people you think are probably sleeping, and that's why it's quiet.
I will still be shouting for Captain Willards, like while running through the house, because I want to head off a possible freak out.
Mhm.
But yeah, okay, I'll come running and bursting into the
Yeah.
courtyard. And I don't speak giant, but I speak Orcish well enough.
Yeah.
And yeah, as far do I hear Jethro talking to the giant in Orcish?
You can make out. I think you have heard Jethro talking to the giant in Orcish over the last day or so.
You
Alright.
mean what I just said?
Well, yeah, as in, yeah.
Did you hear it right?
Oh, no, I didn't mean what you just said. Is like, do I know the giant
yeah. I've
understands Orcish?
I've spoken to him in Orcish several times before in front of you. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'll kind of like, out of breath, kind of run up, coughing, stand beside the giant, put a hand on his ankle, and say like, "Oh, big man, maybe sit down. It'll make them feel better." And
Yeah.
I'll go get you some food from the kitchens.
I'll say we can rest here.
Food from kitchens.
Yeah,
Kitchen.
like good food.
Kitchen.
A place where they make. Yeah, never mind. Hang on. I'll hand Obadiah my signet ring. Or sorry, I'll hand Jethro my family signet ring,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna walk over towards the kitchens. And while passing through the other orcs, I'll go, guys, it's safe here, but these people aren't used to your sort, so you're gonna have to appear as unthreatening as possible. Maybe just chill out with Jethro here. I'll look after you.
Yeah. I'll just sit down with them. Just be like, well, that was
And I'll
quite
walk
quite
over
the
to
journey,
the
boys.
three there.
You, Obadiah, you recognise the three men. They've been with the family for, some time. One of whom is a cook. Two of them work in the stables.
Well, a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. We might need a lot of meat.
Probably lame horses.
I want to start standing with Tor looking out the window, kind of give him a nudge and say, "Oh, Obadiah bloke, is he rich or something? This place is gorgeous."
No. his lordship, you know.
He's putting you putting on airs because you
Yeah,
first
yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh no, this is
Yeah.
his lordship's mansion.
Yes, we're
Yeah,
all
we're just taking the
hired.
piss out of him now.
We're all hired back along to save his lordship.
Oh,
Well,
his lordship. Oh, right.
To
yeah.
save his
So
lordship's daughter. Don't mention
Obadiah
his
is her
daughter.
tutor. Just don't mention his daughter if you meet his lordship yet. 'Cause you don't know what's happened.
What happened to the daughter then?
Well, you'll find out later. I'm not at liberty to divulge those things just yet.
I'll call over to Jeff, who's the
Yeah.
cook.
Sure. Yeah. Jeff the chef. Yeah.
Jeff,
Makes sense.
just a man. Our friends here have been held as slaves for a long, long time. They're not dangerous, even though they might look it.
Yeah.
But
Fucking right. They look it.
Yeah, they scared me as well. But they genuinely aren't. I've no idea how we're going to get the big man out of this place. But
Once I can
Probably best to do it late at night, you know, like now. But we're going to need food to keep them all happy and calm. You got anything left over in there? They've been living on, you know, slave drivel or whatever they call it, gruel,
Yeah.
for all their lives. So even if it's yesterday's slops, can we maybe get a cauldron of the stuff out here for the big cook boy?
Oh well, sure. I mean, there's no bread left, but you know,
I'm
we've
sure.
we've pilchards, we've chowder. Yeah.
Anything that you can make happen would be greatly appreciated. If the lordship doesn't front the bill, I'll happily take care of it.
a sack of fucking raw turnips.
Yeah, like that's what we're talking. They've been living on shit for a long time, so anything
Probably
you got,
been
sacks of
Hell,
potatoes.
just bring him a live horse.
I mean, it's been a little tight, but sure. Yeah. Okay.
Well, that should hopefully change. We've got some
Wait.
good news and some bad news.
Yeah. Well, good news we could use. When did you get back, by the way? If you don't mind me asking, sir.
About 15 seconds ago.
Oh. Oh well, you'll want something to eat yourself then, eh?
Oh, come to think of it, yeah. And I've a few friends with me.
Yeah.
Apart from these guys. There's Jethro there, who his lordship hired along with myself to chase after Lady Catelyn. And then we've two other friends who are currently up in my room.
Oh. Have you?
Don't ask. His lordship's here, is he?
He's not gone much else lately. How did you get in through the town? If you don't mind me asking, I know you're a man of means.
Well, said means. Learned a few things since I left these walls a couple of weeks ago. We can travel by magic now.
No.
It
Must come in handy.
should aid the Lord's situation. Has he
Indeed,
been more
indeed.
trapped in these walls since?
Aye, well, when the Clacks men come back in town after, well, it was a couple of days after you left, scantly. Aye, they kicked up a right stink.
Yeah, not by
Indeed, we've had-
coincidence, I don't think.
No,
Some-
you know, yeah, said that. I mean, it can't be true. Said you'd gone to war against them. Said that the Lord was hiring men off the street to go and trash up Clack's establishments.
Who?
Background.
No.
Clack?
Bit of Claxman?
Claxton.
Claxton?
Claxton.
Claxton
That was it.
Claxton
the
Yeah.
family
lord
are
that owns
yeah.
a lot of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the rival guy, basically.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I know. I don't know what Jed was saying because it wasn't the right name.
Yeah. He's
Um,
calling them just Clacks, but
Clacks.
yeah.
Okay, right. Got it.
Yeah, not quite the case, obviously.
No, well,
Lord Claxman's story against a lowly tutor, but he had men accost us outside Lady Catelyn's townhouse.
hmm.
We didn't really have much of an option, but we didn't go killing them. I don't think.
And it's not true what they're saying about the inn as well.
Well, the end's a horrible story. So I have to tell his lordship before yourself. No offense.
I'll take none, but here, he passes you. He's got a kind of like a kind of fish stew. There's a few potatoes in it, but mostly it's there's rice kind of mixed through it. There's a kind of mixture of things, but a
Paella.
good mixture of fish. Yeah, I'm thinking more like almost somewhere between kedgeree and chowder.
Cool.
Yeah, and he's handing me a tiny bowl of it. Yeah.
He's got a bowl for yourself, and then he kind of puts one in your hand, and then just gives you a couple more, expects you to balance them on your arms, that sort of thing. Jeff the chef, and then he waves over to Tony, his friend, who works in the stables, and says, "Right, let's see what we can do for these. Then they can serve themselves, I guess." Most of the folks have gone to bed.
We're gonna need sacks of turnips and potatoes. Look at the size of that guy.
Well, Alice was just dealing with that actually. Where's she gone? Where's Alice gone?
Well, she's probably scared witless.
She'll have. Yeah.
Better make sure she's not gone too far.
Jethro, behind you, the door to the main house opens again.
Yes.
Standing there in the doorway, is a tall man encased in plate armor. Jethro, you recognize this man. This is the man that hired you to find Caitlin Goss. Some months ago. Some weeks ago.
Yes. Let me hold on. I want to spontaneously remember his name.
Yeah, that's all right.
Jethro is good with names, probably.
No.
No, don't tell me. Don't tell me.
Now the question is, I'm going to roll for to see whether he recognizes you.
Well, it has only been like 4 weeks.
Is it Captain Willard?
I don't know.
It is Captain Willard.
Willard! It is I, Jethro Chadwick. I was one of Obadiah's companions, if you will remember me. These are friends of mine. They mean no harm, no foul.
Obadiah's companions. I didn't hire a pack of orcs to go raiding across the country. Is that your business?
We're not raiders. You hired me. I, Jethro Chadwick. These are my friends. They are peaceful.
He strides forward. You notice that there is a sword in his hand, but it isn't raised. And he stands just out of reach.
He's not hurt.
No wonder this... No wonder there's such trouble going on around here. What have you done with Obadiah?
He's in the kitchen getting us some grub.
He's what?
He's getting us some food.
I can probably hear this if I'm.
We've
not
had a long
in the
journey.
kitchen.
Yeah, no, this guy is not quiet.
We've had a long and arduous journey, and plenty of bad stuff has happened to us. But
Tony, hold that.
Perhaps this will help you to trust me. I show him in one hand the signet ring, and in the other hand my King's Ward badge. We have been up to many deeds since we left you.
Yeah. His demeanor changes, that's for sure. He's looking towards them both, and then he looks past you, past the orcs, and to Obadiah coming out into the court.
Yeah.
Assume me and Tor are still in this window. I'm going to nudge him again.
If you haven't moved, yeah.
Who's that fucker? One in the big plate.
If I see him in the window,
right? He's captain of the guard here.
Oh.
I'll wave him to come on down. Willard, Captain Willard, we can explain. My friends
Young
here
Master Black, indeed.
and our new acquaintances
Getting a snap back.
will not be hostile.
This
But
is
it's probably safe to say that the big man, his name is Murmur,
Murmur.
will probably need to leave town before sunrise. Otherwise, it will probably cause some sort of problems
This
for his
Tongi,
lordship.
Tongi, Buzz Toe Taker, and Grish Chin Cutter, and I will also vouch for them.
The orcs now, they know how to nod. They know how to kind of kowtow and show respect. And they can see that you are reacting in that way to this guy.
I was going to say... yeah, if they try and bow, I will say, you need not bow, merely be polite. Did they speak common? I don't remember, sorry.
The orcs speak a bit of common, but it's kind of broken. They've been certainly favouring orcish. They speak their orcish is also not great. Yeah, this is exactly it. Is that when they're speaking amongst each other, there's a kind of weird mix between, odd words will come out in Dwarvish.
Like
kind of pigeon. Yeah, exactly it. Yeah.
I'll put my hand out for my signet ring back, by the way, as I walk past Jethro.
Oh, yeah. Honey.
Captain Willard... Sorry, go on.
John, I'm going to say I'm going to come down, and I have a plan on how we can get the giant out of the thing, even in the daytime. No one will know it's a giant.
Yeah, you might have to explain to him what you're going to do first, but yeah.
I speak giant, so not an issue.
You say that. Willard's rubbing his chin, but do they have to leave?
Oh, we don't want to use these. We have better means to deal with Claxton, if that's what you're thinking. But no, they don't have to leave.
It's up to them.
Yeah.
It's their choice. They're free
These
people
are free
now.
men. They have been bound
Jeff
to servitude.
Jeff has been telling me times are hard, so feeding this one might be a bit tough. But I hope to bring news of change. Can I speak to Lord Goss now?
No, I will have someone wake him.
All right.
I've come down, by the way.
Yeah.
I think
finding a way through the house isn't particularly difficult. The house is fine and well decorated, but it feels sparse. There are spaces on the walls where the wood is faded differently. It's clear that paintings have been taken down, tapestries have been put away. There are racks out that... and there are barricades on certain windows, especially on this southern side, that would look out onto a street.
Willard, we'll stay here. We'll in the courtyard and...
Is it warm?
It's a summer night.
Okay, so it's pleasant.
Yeah, it's only a couple of days after midsummer.
Yeah. Oh, of course, yeah. Well, a week or two.
2 or 3 weeks, yeah.
I just it'd be nice to sit around a fire with these boys. I don't know. Is there a fire pit here or something?
Obadiah, it's been known that there have been fires had in the courtyard. There's nothing set for it at the minute.
Sort something out.
Yeah, just you feel welcome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back into the kitchens while this is kind of placated a little bit, and see what food I can scrounge up. See what wood or if there's a burner or metal thing that you light the fire. I don't know what the fuck.
A braise, yeah.
And just sort some shit out here. If I need to throw, I'm gonna ask Jeff.
Yep.
If he can send a runner for food at this hour. Is that a thing that can be done?
The hour's not the most important part,
What,
where
the
you
whole
think to send
town
them?
can't get food? Or
No.
The Claxons are selling it.
it's tight moving around. Just one man on his own's gonna be tough, definitely.
Fucking hell, is things this bad?
Things are this bad.
Sounds like the port is pretty
What's
fucked up place.
what's the danger?
The port's still ours. We're
Is
keeping
the
it
war?
tight, but
What's the enemy?
Claxton fella. Claxton's. They
Clax-
would pretty much run
Oh,
everything else.
yeah.
couple of days after you fellas left, someone came riding into town. None of us knew him, but he was telling all of us that a man who worked for Lord Goss, and it didn't take anyone long to work out who he meant, had shown up at a Claxton-owned business, smashed up the place, killed man, woman, and child who was staying there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're sure it's a bad rumor. It didn't matter what Goss said. You know, some folks have got the gift of the gab. Some stories, it doesn't matter whether they're true or not. They take hold. They run through the town like wildfire.
How many hours has it
Right.
been? Oh no, it's only
Right.
been like non-detection is still running, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay. Just putting
I
that out there.
am gonna cast Good Berry and give fucking orcs and giant berries.
Yeah.
Anyone else want a
We've
berry?
arranged for food.
All right, we'll just fucking.
Hold on to it.
There's a fairly nice smelling fish stew.
It sounds like we need to fucking go and kick some ass in the city by the sounds of it.
You, boys, I'm a little bit lost here. You have to fill me in. Who are these Claxon fellows?
Okay.
Minor lord.
I will fill him in when Gav and Willard are away,
So I will leave to go to the kitchen to sort this out.
and I'll just be
If
like,
while Jeff is telling me the situation, I won't offer him money and tell him to go get food. I will instead, just organise what food's in the kitchens and slowly bring it out. And I'll make sure Willard is away to wake Gus.
Don't
I
forget.
He said Willard sends someone, and he comes with you, Obadiah, into the kitchen.
This is Sam talking to players.
Yeah.
Don't forget that Titus did have a banditry map that we gave to the queen, not the queen, the woman who looks after the king. So there was proof of his evil doings.
Oh yeah. We
You
actually
remember that?
have.
Who did you give it to, Sam?
Genevieve.
The woman. Genevieve.
so there were
Yeah.
proof
Oh, good point.
proof of Claxton's evil
Yeah.
doings. Yes.
So
yes.
we
Yes.
actually have.
And undermining the war
cause.
effort.
We have cause to.
Okay, yeah. I'm still not
Bring
gonna.
justice.
I'm still not
Gromlin
gonna
doesn't
own
know
up to
this,
it.
but you
But
guys.
I'm
should
gonna
remember that.
sit Gromlin under hand and say, like, the Claxtons are the rival clan, and I'll explain the incident at the pub. And look, I was only trying to scare the kid. Turned out he had a weak spine. Obadiah killed his mother. It could have happened to anyone. He flung a spell. It missed. I'm sure it's happened to you. We all have our bad days. And
I'm going to be in earshot and say we fine. I'm going to break out.
you cut off a bit there.
So I'm going to be within earshot, and as soon as you say a weak spine, I'm going to laugh my ass off.
But yeah, I've felt bad about that kid ever since, and I've been trying to make up for it. That's part of the reason why I wanted to free these. Well, mainly just orc solidarity. I don't know. But yeah, we also found the map and blah blah yada yada. I'll tell him all about that stuff.
I'm gonna look at Jeffro in the eyes and say, "Well, I just feel like you did what you had to do." Gromlin's had to do a fair few things in the past.
And it turned out the kid was working for the bandits, But yeah, I feel bad for killing him.
Means to an end. Kids in the way. Who cares? Barely alive, anyway.
All life is sacred. Killing someone in a fair fight. Now that's a different matter.
Didn't he also admit to you that he sent his uncle to come and kill us? Or
Yeah,
rob
he
us?
did. Well, okay, yeah, you're kind of softening the blow a little bit. This guilt has been eating me up inside, but yeah, I guess so.
Whatever. Sounds like a load of nonsense, though. Lords v. Lords.
Yeah.
I'll be coming back out now.
Oh, and
With a
also,
bucket of fish soup.
did we tell him about Caitlin? Yeah, go on, man.
No, I've not
No.
told.
I will also, very quietly, in case anyone is within earshot, so we were sent to rescue Caitlin. She was possessed. You may have heard him alluding to that earlier. We kind of had to kill her because there was no redeeming her. We couldn't get her back. At least that's what the magic boy said. I don't know.
What, and your halfling friend slit her throat with that dagger? I'll say louder.
You?
It,
It is shut
in
up, mate.
surprise.
Yes, he did slit that witch's throat with that dagger. The witch in the woods.
But it would probably be tactful to maybe not mention this. Let Obadiah do the talking. He's the one who's friends with these people, not us, really.
Well, hey, I'm out of my place here.
Well, I mean,
Life
yeah, you've done
dwarf.
nothing, so you'll probably be all right. But yeah, just keep still. Keep still.
Guilty by association.
Well, that too. Also, yeah, you'll be hanged next to us if you if you say anything.
I'm
Heroes
guilty of many
by
things. Don't worry.
association. Yeah, I'll come back in
Anyway.
at the tail end of this conversation and set up a fire here.
Oh, beautiful. Sit
Yeah.
around it with the
Easy,
boys.
easy. Yeah, there's firewood. It feels well seasoned. It feels dry. Some of it is probably left over from a midsummer bonfire.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to ask
But,
Murmur where does he hail from? Does he know where his people are from?
mountains.
Mountains. And the
Tor,
orcs.
where did you learn joint?
Back home. You know, we live. There's a lot of well, big things where I come from.
And everything big in your case. And that's
Bigger than
dwarf
me.
saying that too.
And a lot bigger than you. It's very hot and sticky compared to the what it's like around here. It's always good to know some languages, you know. Dragons and giants are things you don't want to be get on the wrong side of too often.
Around you and above the awning in the courtyard, lights are going on in windows that were dark previously. One by one by one. The house is waking up. And after a moment, as the conversation goes on, one of the house guards walks out through the room. Walks out through the courtyard. Says something quietly to Captain Willard, who then looks to you, Obadiah. But says, I wonder if... Well, you, Mr. Dwarf, I don't know. But the other three of you are under contract to this house. And so I wonder if it's time for you to meet your employer.
Getting a drink. Assume I introduce myself to him.
Yeah?
Can
Well, the
I-
three of us are also now Kingsguard, and we vouch for this man, this dwarf. I think it best if we all speak to Lord Goss together, if you see fit, Captain Willard.
And my friends here are under the protection of us as King's Ward as well. If I give you my word, they will not cause trouble. Please ensure they are unmolested. Giggity.
Willard coughs, speaks out in accented Orcish. The four of you can stay here as long as you like. And if you'd like, we can find a way to make you useful. But we'll talk about that in the morning. For now, eat, drink, be comfortable.
I'm going to use telepathy on Tor and say, Tor, can you warn the giant that Willard's motivations could be seen as slavery by another name?
Yeah, I will
What the fuck?
talk to the giant and say that he's very interested in recruiting him as a soldier, but it would not be a very wise idea.
I will thank Willard and shake his hand. So that's an honourable gesture of him to say to be nice, speak Orcish.
I'll give you an insight check here, Jethro. You made one a minute ago, but
I didn't.
didn't you? I'm sure you did.
I didn't. No.
Okay.
But I got good insight, and it's 20.
20. You've got to think through a little bit. The way this guy is speaking is his Orcish is much closer to. If someone were learning Orcish from a non-Orcish speaker, like a non-native speaker themselves.
Yeah.
But Dutch
He's
is an American.
He's like learnt it. Someone's taught him it in school or whatever.
Yeah. This is it. The thoughts run through your head why this man might have learned it. This man who has spent probably a good portion of his life protecting cities, protecting civilization. You recall his attitude towards lizard folk and reptiles as he spoke of them when you first met.
Mm.
Yeah, and this guy's like 50, isn't he? He's like
he's
he's a gammon. Does he? I'm more concerned about does he seem to genuinely like he's going to leave them alone while we're in this meeting?
Oh, he doesn't sound insincere. He's like clearly is not giving a sense that he's going to stab them or attack them or anything like that.
Okay.
But you think maybe the reason that he learned Orcish is to more effectively fight orcs at some point.
That's fine. Well, I'm satisfied with that at least.
Yeah,
For now.
but he isn't. With an insight check like that as well, like this guy isn't given to subterfuge. If he wanted to fight them, he'd be fighting them.
Yeah, that's fine.
You know?
I'm satisfied with that from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's good enough.
Absolutely.
Is this time going to be counted as a short rest or long rest?
If you'd like to take this into a short rest, so you're being invited to go and meet with Lord Gus.
Yeah. No, I just want to know pair spells.
Well, we could flavour it that we've just sat and had the meal, and now
You've been sat. You've been sat while you've been eating. Let's say prepared the fire and things like that. If you'd like to have sat for an hour, then that's fine. I personally, I don't think it's going to have been a full hour, to be honest. That you've been back.
It makes sense that you'd want to see us immediately turning up like this.
Yeah. So no, don't go into a short rest yet. Don't go into a rest yet.
Okay.
The orcs are being suggested to stay. The four of you then, if you'd like to go and meet the Lord who has been woken, and we'll see you in his own private study.
He's more woke than fucking Captain Willard anyway.
I'm going to send Mortimer, my familiar in cat form, up onto the awning to keep an eye on the situation out here.
Yeah,
and he's
absolutely.
just going to curl up and, yeah, I can jump into his eyes whenever I need.
Yeah. You get a sense from the cat that it wishes that you'd let it sit closer to the fire, but it's going to obey.
It has to believe. It's, it's a magical creation that I command. It doesn't really get a say in things.
Yeah, well, fuck you.
Get used
Fine.
to it.
Yeah. That's the relationship with cats all around the world, isn't it?
Yeah.
And magical constructs bound to survive.
Yeah.
That's why they're great.
Yeah.
Not when they hit 20.
Yes, and they just stink up your place.
Yeah. On your fucking bed all the time, or on your lap.
Right. Off to
Face the music.
Obadiah, you know the way to Lord Goss's private study. You head back into the main kind of foyer. Turn right. It is incidentally in almost the same place within the house, the equivalent as Movis's was in Tolvaden. Penvaden, sorry. Near the front, as though it would face out onto the road.
Yeah.
You go into the room And a few things have changed. It's dimly lit. There is a lantern lit burning oil on a writing desk. As above, as you had seen going through the house, the window is barricaded. Boards are up. What was once a gaming table for balls or for, cards or what have you, is laid out with a
Keys,
map
yeah.
of the town. Things marked, positions coloured, scratched out.
I've seen a war room before.
But Lord John Goss is to call him podgy is to undersell it. He's a fat guy. Keeps his beard trim round around his mouth. His hair was once a kind of chestnut colour, but it's long greyed. He has managed to rustle himself a piece of chicken, which sits there on the plate. And you can see his nightshirt sticking out the top of the cloak which he has wrapped around himself upon being dragged out of bed in the night.
My lord?
He does not look happy.
Seems this place has changed somewhat since I've left. Pointing at the table with the map. Or the boarded windows.
All things have changed for the worst. My dear miss, my dear Black. Oh, my dear boy. How it was in that night when we last saw my girl. Oh dear, how things have changed.
Well, I'm afraid, Lord Goss, I'm the bringer of some extremely bad tidings.
He nods and says, well, they can be worse. Okay, you surprise me yet.
On Midsummer's, as the comet crashed overhead, your poor daughter passed from this world, from this realm. It was a result of what she had been teaching herself over the past several years, despite my best efforts. But it was also the work of other evil and manipulated people in this realm. People of some note. I think I will have to explain our journey to fully convey the proper context. I will take off my cloak and I will lay it across the chair that I'm about to sit on, but I'll do it in such a way that my Kingsguard emblem is visible to him.
Sure, yeah, okay.
So I'll put that on the back of the chair with the flap up so we can see it, and then I'll sit down. We went into town that night, nearly 4 weeks ago, and we ascertained almost immediately that Lady Catelyn had defended herself using magic, I might add, in her townhouse. She was taken from there by a group of 7 or 8 lizard folk. She had been taken along the known Claxton's route north, up through, along the edge of the forest, through Penvadden, or around Penvadden to be fair, towards Shymeet. Now in Penvadden, as we went through, a day or two behind the riders, we found that Lord Movis, you may remember him, an elven gentleman in charge of the the logging that funds and supports the Hyluris, our war in the north, had been corrupted by the same demonic force that was working against Lady Catelyn. He had corrupted the church. He had corrupted the trees. He had exploited the land. Many sites of bandits and camps were noted around this area. Claxton controlled, from what we understand. They'd also used the inn. I forget its name now,
Oh,
but
I
it was
had
along that northern path, along the Low Marne.
You forget the name of the inn.
Well,
what was it? The Stone and Shutters?
I am working on it.
Yeah. Stones and Shutters?
I do have an int at 20. Gav forgets the name of the inn.
Sure.
We go to the next
Yep.
Stone and Shutters Inn. My
Stone and
apologies.
Shutters, exactly it, yeah.
We've had anyway, the Claxtons were in league with these folk. They had sites all around this area who had been robbing and murdering travellers on the road. It was heartbreaking to see. There was one room in that inn, a small room at the back of the stairs, that was just full of travellers' belongings. I'm talking scores of pairs of shoes and satchels and clothing, and this extended family had been murdering and robbing people on this road for who knows how long. Probably since this sickness had taken the land.
If you remember right, someone attacked us the night we stayed on the road.
Yeah.
That's true, Tor. Yes, they had attacked us the night before we arrived at the inn. Anyway, mistakes were made, but unfortunately, due to their nature and their illegal activities, some possibly rash decisions were made, but we left that place with no life standing and headed to Penfaden. There we encountered this Movis character, and as I said, he had corrupted the populace, but he had corrupted the very nature of the trees. He had forced them to grow faster using this evil magics. He had therefore been sending weak wood to go build the ships that fought the war in the north. And this was all under the guise of this creature. I don't have prestidigitation, do I? No, I don't. What we have since learned is called a devil. We confronted him in a...
When he says devil, I want to Kate Bella.
Jesus, man. We confronted him in a cellar. The cellar was a strange place with many burning braziers and a seeming portal to another place.
Demons.
Demons, devils, whatever these things are called, they spewed forth. We were lucky to get out of there alive. We left the town and headed to Shymeet, hot on the tracks of the 7 odd horses that had left with your daughter. We knew her to be alive at this stage. We went into Shymeet to find that the lizards were holding some moot to the west, a day's march out of town. We went there, we talked with their pack elders, whatever they are. And they seem a terribly divided people. Corrupted. One or two of the pack seemed corrupted. The older and wiser, the more sensible, seemed like they wanted your daughter dead. We didn't understand this until we left that morning to head back to Shymeet. And as I said, The meteor came overhead. No, sorry, I skipped ahead. We had eventually found Caitlin. She didn't seem herself. She seemed aloof, different than I remember her, although it's only been a few years. But we got rooms at an inn in Shymead, and while she was in her room, the meteor crashed overhead. The next we see her, she is walking through the air as the dogs of the town turn, burst, and from within them come these devils, these spiked creatures of fire and brimstone, and they set upon the folk of the town and ourselves. Something changed in Catherine. She had been possessed. There was no way out. There was no other way. And I realised this is going to probably take fucking another half an hour to tell the story. So
Yeah,
I'm
impressed with the level of detail.
Previously on section.
Yeah.
It's going to make this a
I'm going
separate video
to-
introduction.
I'm going to go with the same thing. Like I've skipped over the bits I need to skip over.
You met the
So
king.
therefore,
She flew away. We met the king. He made us boss dogs. We had to go to
sorry,
this village.
she didn't. We didn't kill her there, did we?
No.
No.
She
No, it was
flew
your
away,
answer.
Okay.
and then
So, yeah. Okay,
she flew
so
away
she-
to where the comet crashed. Then we
Yeah,
met the
so she-
king.
I'll-
and he
yeah,
tasked
so
us
I'll
with
say
going
that-
to sort it out.
So we journeyed as quick as we could down the Lurry to the king. We explained the situation. We gave the map we found of the Claxton sites, the bandit sites around this area, to Lady Genevieve,
Genevieve.
and we were tasked by both the High Priest and Lady Genevieve to track down this meteor. And I'll explain pretty much all the heroic shit we did after that, as is.
You can
With the
imagine Titus
slight,
slitting her throat.
with the slight detail, yeah, I'm in fact going to explain that Titus was corrupted by this demon dagger and slit her throat.
Ooh.
Kind
You
of
are
gets me
gonna put
off
it that
the
way?
hook a little
Yeah.
bit.
Okay.
I'm not-
Well,
I'm not going to say slit her throat.
I would have
I'm going
said.
to
I
s-
would have said we battled her and she died personally. But yeah, if you
I'm
want
going
to
to say
throw Titus at the
I
wall,
sp-
then that works.
I'm going to say that like we spent serious effort learning banishment magics and everything my old teachers could teach me about getting rid of these creatures from your daughter, but it did not work. And
Great.
our supposed friend, who we later learned had been corrupted, killed
Truly
Caitlin.
executed.
We then killed him later. It is no replacement. I'll explain the situation at the meteor, the zombies, the war in the north, the devastation in the north, the exact situation in Mazenhall, the king, the Gelder, the slavery. Don't hold back on that front.
No,
No.
great.
This is where
Um,
Gromnon comes in.
I will explain how we got to know Gromnom, and I will explain the letters and the missives we sent to Hyluri. I will also infer that we wrote the letter to Lord Goss. Whether he got it or not, I don't know. And the fact that we have went to that plane of existence, and where this evil creature that I definitely do not trust has said she has talked to his daughter. So his
Fact-
daughter is still out there, and therefore, if at all possible, it may be possible to bring her back.
The fact that her body is also in a church that has been fucking. Was it?
Prevents them
It's
from
ha-
decaying.
hallowed ground, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in hallowed ground in Shymead.
And fucking.
Not in Shymead,
had
it's
that
in
spell put on her.
And
It is.
No, it's
Whatever it was.
Wherever thingy's from.
it's that with that fucking big guy. I had it.
Oh,
written.
sorry. Yes, it's along the back. Ansel.
Ansel.
Ansel. That's it. Yeah.
Ansel's not on the main map. Sorry,
Yeah, it's there as the green icon.
yeah,
Mm.
that's right.
So that is
I could
most of
vouch
the
for some of his
truth.
words, especially the bit about killing Titus and his corruption. You released a demon upon Malinor. I had been foretelling this for a long time.
But the problem is, Lord Goss, is that people of power in this land, people who hold noble titles in all of the empires that make up Lurston, have been affected. And having lived here and known you for so long, and knowing Lord Claxton, I would say he's either very foolish and bullish, or has been affected by this as well.
What can happen to that Movus bloke? I'm sure it can happen to anyone. These lords.
And I'm preparing to cast Misty Step if he orders me to be executed.
Goss puts down his now stripped chicken leg on the plate.
He was eating while I was telling him that. Fuck him.
He was describing his daughter's death. Yeah.
Yeah, his throat slit.
No, I reworded that.
He screws his eyes tight just for a second. And just, thank you, my boy. No, Obadiah. Would you mind leaving me alone now? It's good to have you back, but I'll see you in the morning.
What?
Man wishes to be left with grief.
I can understand, sir, if you want to be left to grieve, but... Okay.
You could find your room unlocked. We've had to
I
put a
can get
couple of
into my
things in
room.
there.
I'm sure his lordship can be able to tell us about the situation.
He is in front of you now, holding his hand up across his face. His nose is digging into his palm.
Can I get an insight check into this guy?
Yeah, absolutely.
This guy, you're, lord of many
Yeah.
years.
Well, I'm noble as well. But,
Oh, you
It's
are
only
a
a 10.
pasha. You're part of the problem.
oh, definitely.
What's the total on the insight check, please,
10.
Kev? 10 total. There's a couple of things that stand out. It's unlike him to call you by your first name. He seems upset.
Can I tell if it's upset at me or upset in general?
It's a lot. What you've just told him is a lot. for him
Fano's
to take
daughter's
in.
death. He's definitely upset.
Yes, but I'm
yeah.
mainly worried about myself and the rule of law in the land.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are the law.
He hasn't. He very firmly hasn't lashed out at you or asked for you to be killed or anything like that. He has said it's good to see you and have you back. But
all right, I'll
part of that is that's a lot of information that you've just given him. You've woken up in the night to tell him all of that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I think for a total 10, that's as much as I'm going to tell you.
I will cast guidance on Lord, whatever his name is, and pretend I'm giving him a blessing. In my priestly ways.
On whom?
On the crying man.
On Lord Goss.
Yes, that was it, Lord Goss.
He barely even looks at you. His shoulders are shaking a little bit.
Good.
Over the next day or two, I'd like to write an account that does not put me in any jeopardy Apart from the details in the inn where I say we killed outlaws. I will admit to that.
Yeah, okay.
But I will not say I killed them, nor will I say Jethro killed one. Even though I killed the granny and Jethro threw the woman off the girl off the roof.
You don't have to, Gav. You've already told the fucking Genevieve.
Yeah, but I
Given her
think
the
this is
evidence.
probably going to go further than him. So I
So-
would like
And who?
to sell
Yeah.
the story. Well,
Yeah,
for
but
instance, if this guy
you've already
takes on...
told the king, so you're absorbed of any lawful.
Well, we haven't told the king what we did in the inn.
Yeah,
We
because
we
I
just
gave
say
her
we-
the map.
We just say we resolved the problem.
You definitely didn't tell anyone in the court that, Jethro had thrown a
but
child
we
off the
did
roof.
tell them that Claxon was doing wrong crime.
Yes.
Titus
Yes,
did.
yeah, no, we did,
So,
we
yeah,
did.
We're resolved the crime here.
But I want to write up a document of it to
Yeah.
implement the story, the Bene Gesserit way. There's power in this.
For your ass.
Mm.
I understand you, Gav. If you're leaving Goss be, it's only when you go to close the door to the study that you hear his voice actually crack and sobs begin to permeate through the room. Captain Willard has stayed out in the kind of in the hall outside.
Did you hear any of that, Willard? Sorry, Captain Willard.
Not my place to listen in on your accounts, but that's a yes. It's a
Good enough.
non-judgmental yes.
I knew you'd have her back.
I'm glad to hear you've been out to see some of the world at last. See how things are really run further north.
I wish I'd never left. And I'll walk off back out to the courtyard.
Can't say we'd be any worse off if you hadn't. He doesn't come with you to the courtyard. He waits there for a little bit as the four of you pass, and then you don't see where he goes next. The fire in the courtyard has not grown substantially, but it's been well maintained. One of the stable hands is sitting on the dismantled cartwheel, and he shrugs at you as you walk out. He's kind of taking what am I trying to say? Kind of perched like a defensive position on it almost. But the orcs themselves are sat by the fire. Mumar has gone all the way through a bag of turnips, but looks a little more contented, has taken a relaxed posture, and is sat
Fucking
cross-legged.
It's gonna fucking stink tomorrow.
I'm just going to point out this is the first time that Grobnon has heard all of your interdoings with the other things of the demon world, like Movis and stuff like that. So he would probably have done some speech with Obadiah about how everything was ordained, and this is exactly what he thought would happen. And it seems our paths have met at the right time. Don't overthrow this wrongdoing.
Well, let's hope it's the right time.
We cannot tarry here, though. We have work to do. I will say.
That is true. Tor, the dagger. If it's our only means to bring an end to this thing once and for all, we need to keep it as safe as possible. Are you willing to take that?
Well, not really, but I'm the only one here. Hasn't
don't you have,
died
like,
that much, isn't it?
Just, I don't know about
No, I
his
can't
face.
stick it inside my fucking.
No.
It's part of me, man.
Don't you between you have some way that you could magically hide it? Or keep it somewhere safe magically so that it's unavailable? to
I
anyone.
have a bag of
Potentially.
holding,
Oh,
but I
Yes,
do know of a spell, but I haven't learned it.
I
Oh.
do
But I
have
can-
ways of hiding it, but it also
Your
needs to be
prison
hid
pocket.
from being able to be
it seems.
detected.
Look, to me,
No.
it seems like carrying it just on your person is a bad
Yeah, it's a
idea.
big fucking risk.
So Tor does not need to
Thing makes
be.
me uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's why I'm asking him.
So if you
We
got your
don't have a
fancy
way
bag,
to magically
ooh,
hide it. The fancy bag, as far as I know, just it creates a pocket of space that we can leave things in that is outside other planes of existence.
My eyes glaze over.
I do not. I'll continue going. I do
Yeah.
not know if this means that these devils can sense these other planes of existence or can tell what's there. I would imagine that they can't. But it's a lot to put.
Well, we can find a way of magically, hiding away from detection. We can always conceal it in rock somewhere.
Well, I can.
Yeah.
I'd have to stay in one place all the time, casting one spell every day to hide it. The same spell I taught that witch.
Should have left it with her. No.
Otherwise, the safest place for it to be is with us.
Yeah.
Nice to
But just some way that,
Aliens.
you don't have to actually ever touch it.
Maybe I
never
think.
plan on touching it.
Good.
Jed, could I get an Arcana check and see how would it be safer in the bag of holding? What
Yeah,
I know of extra planar.
absolutely
blah,
make the
blah.
check. Yeah.
I mean, if we're at the mansion, you could just look in your library, probably, or something.
Yeah, but my library is like entry level college magic
Yeah.
compared to what I know now. That's a 26.
26. It would take some exceptional spellcraft to steal something directly from a bag of holding. It would also require a person knowing exactly where it was, like specifically where the bag was, and then being able to, really work very well at planner, kind of. Yeah, kind of working with spells and things like that. They are not easy to make, from what you're aware of. The bags of holding, they people that make them. What am I trying to say? You rolled really well on the Arcana check, so I want to give you that bit of information. They're not expensive to make for people that know how to make them, but they take an exceptional amount of skill to learn how to do it. The way that they are made, and so they're one of these things that the cost is tied up in the skill.
The one we found was
the one that you
ancient
found,
or whatever. It was a stroke of luck opposed to commonality.
it was in this inside the safe in Mofus's office.
Yeah.
If I recall, the one that you guys have, they aren't a common thing. Lord Goss doesn't own one that you know of.
Okay, well, because Tor knows magic, I will have this kind of nerdy discussion with him about this.
Yeah.
And then I think I'll try to persuade him
Yeah.
to give the dagger to me to put into the bag.
Yeah, in order for a person to
Still
steal directly from it, they'd need to know where the bag was. They'd need to know quite a bit about the dagger, and then they'd need to be a good, skilled spellcaster in order to be able to do it.
The
So
hag
the
would have had the
witch could-
potential if we
She
had.
hasn't seen the dagger, though.
She hasn't seen it. She'd need to be actively tracked. She doesn't know necessarily that you've got a bag of holding.
That's true, but she could possibly find me.
Actually, she probably would bars out.
I don't know if she could find me. She can contact me on other planes, maybe.
Yeah, you didn't take that amulet, so she wouldn't necessarily be able to find you because you would have been able to track you.
But I did take this spell.
Again, for her to be able to scry on you, there's ways to do it for her to be able to find exactly where you are, but not always and not necessarily. Your non-detection before you went in there will help you long after that spell wears off, based on that encounter.
Yeah, that non-detection is still currently active because it's only been an hour or whatever.
Absolutely, yeah. And that
So-
includes things that you are carrying, right?
Just
I
put it in the
believe.
bag. There's nowhere else it can go, really, is there?
Yeah,
So yeah, it's going to be about as safe there as it is anywhere, is what I'm trying to say. Something that really wants it, there are forces out there in the world that could get it, but
They'd have to know, and no one knows at the moment.
Yeah,
and even
okay.
then, there's
So
bits
it's
of knowledge that
it's going into the bag in full knowledge of everyone present.
In
At
full
least the
wrap.
4 of us.
Yeah.
And it's wrapped still. And what I'll do is I will make sure as soon as I can to transcribe planar contact
Tiny
and
bits
then
of
destroy the paper that she gave me.
sure, yeah.
tiny bits
That
of
might-
Titus on it as well.
Oh, maybe wash them off.
Now you rolled pretty well on that Arcana check, so I'm going to invite you to make one. I'm going to invite you to make one more check to see if I give you an explicit bit of knowledge.
21.
A 21. Okay. The scrying spell specifically has a bunch of different modifiers. Now, with this person having met you, and it doesn't necessarily know you well, but knows a good bit about you. Crucially, also has something that is arguably a possession of yours. Those are all things that would aid her if she wanted to scry on you.
True.
She'd benefit very well if she had a body part, for example, a piece of hair or a bit of fingernail. But you don't remember her cutting your hair or touching you in that sort of way.
Okay. Right, well, now that we're back down at the fire. What now?
The night is drawing on. The air is spitting slightly now. The clouds are beginning to break apart, as they will do by the sea. And as things quieten down, you realize you can indeed hear the sea. You can hear the rush and the crash of waves in this home.
What's that noise?
It's the sea, Gromnon. We're close to it, on the coast.
Oh,
A sec.
I've never seen the sea.
I don't imagine any of you fellas have.
Well, I've seen
Well,
the Great Lakes.
Maybe we could go out to the
under
beach.
insert dwarven name here.
Maybe we could go to the beach tomorrow or something. I don't know. I want to.
Sounds like it's not even safe to walk to the beach.
Yeah, I want to think about what I want to do with these orcs, but maybe we want to deal with that next week.
Well, I've got a plan to get the giant out. It's going to talk
Well, I
to him
mean,
in
he
terms
can stay
Well,
here for now. They said that. That's fine.
Yeah, but I mean, like, when he has to get out of this bloody courtyard, because, you know, after a while he's going to have to start taking his shit.
Well, yes.
It's going to be like in the corner, fucking hell. You imagine that? Fucking giant shit in the corner? I think his lordship will love that. But, I was going to tell him I'll polymorph him down to something a bit more manageable through the building. Maybe get him out of
I'd
town.
imagine polymorphing a person, he says hesitantly, of that size down to something tiny, as he'd see it, would be quite scary for him.
Well, I'll ask him what he wants first.
Well, I
What
want
he
to
would like to see.
talk to these guys, all the orcs and the giant, but maybe like next week. I want to think about it.
Either that
Yeah.
or I could use fucking reduce, but that only makes half as big. Still struggle to get from the building. It only lasts for a minute.
Well,
No, it's a good idea.
I think, Black, we should get your lord on board for this demon hunt. We know how to kill it now.
We probably need to resolve this Claxton situation. Yeah.
Perhaps
Yeah.
Obadiah's assumption is correct, and they are involved.
Take
in
care of town. You know, his lordship be more willing to.
Yeah,
aid
you're right,
properly.
Gromnon. It is an assumption, and it was one I used to try and get Lord Goss involved. Seems they've been under siege here for a while, but I feel
Can I throw
I don't
something
know.
else your way?
Yeah.
You may not like it. What if the lady's predisposition to such corruptions runs in the family?
Oh, she was. Yes, I've considered it, but given the Claxton situation and knowing Lady Caitlin just being an impetuous, let's face it, lazy youth, not lazy, noble
He,
youth, you know.
well, you gotta look at it this way. If he was in league with a demon or a devil or whatever they're called, do you reckon he'd be suffering like he is with the town? Reckon he'd let these lot run over him
I
like they
think
are?
we can't just assume everybody's a fucking demon or like a bad person. Like it's just
No, you're right. You're right.
the one person
I'm
you
not
should be
entirely
trusting.
sure. Go on.
Maybe. No, I don't know. He's your lord. He's the one person you should have loyalty to.
Well, I do have loyalty to him, and I think Claxton is a problem, but I don't know if Claxton's just a greedy so-and-so and not
Well,
in league.
we're talking
Well-
about securing the Lord's help with the demon. Then, well, we're probably gonna have to deal with the Claxton situation first, right?
Claxton's been breaking the. So,
But I'm saying, is this problem in the south, this Claxton Goss problem, who's only a minor lord, is this big enough? Could we be instead going straight to the king?
Oh, you're the one.
Explaining the
You're the one who's
situation.
fucking loyal to this guy.
This is next
You
to
decide.
treason.
You do what you want.
in a war situation, this stuff's like next to treason. End of the day, he's causing disharmony when
Oh,
you need
you're
all your
right.
resources out in the field, and we are here by the king. You know, we're meant to take care of shit like this.
That's
Not
true.
explicitly. And having the knowledge that we've gained back into the royal court for them to make an informed decision is...
Well, we're still gonna have to go
Boss.
through the Claxons to get there.
No, I can teleport us.
Oh shit! Oh,
Yeah. We can be there and back within a day.
okay.
I'm saying this. Frankly, I'd quite like to kill all those Claxons.
Well, yes, that too.
Gromdom doesn't know that, but
Yeah, I feel like I want to do that. Yeah.
well, we didn't get to kill the fucking Beck with the fingers missing, did we?
Also,
Not
I'd
yet.
like to see those dwarves that we met up in the forest. What's it called?
Oh, the dwarven sort.
Tolvaden
yeah.
Forest. Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'd like to see good.
I would like to go
The
and get my
wood.
fucking egg stuck in a inn, but
Oh yeah,
that
Oh,
was-
I've got plans
shit.
for that egg.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
That's eaten everyone in the end, and they're gone.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
not
like-
just a big nest.
I'd like to see the war effort in the north be strengthened by the fall of the Claxtons. That's for sure.
Yep.
But is that as important as whatever fucking demonic influences
Well, at the minute we
weeping
don't
the
have
area?
anything to chase demonic. We don't. What have we got to go on? Where is the next demonic thing?
The scars of the king.
Yeah. Because she
That's
also
our
mentioned
only
something
clue.
about
Yeah.
demons writing influence into the king or something like that. The king's skin, royal skin.
He's
Yeah,
going to be
we've
like
also
King
got,
Theoden.
You know, we did also sort of create this pile of shit for this poor Lord Goss.
Claxton
Don't give a
was
shit, he's
Claxton
a
was
human.
gonna have a go at him
No.
anyway. Like I feel like that was
Claxton
always
was
bound to
doing
happen.
this work before we started.
Yeah, but give him a reason.
We did. Yeah, we
That's the
didn't
thing.
make it. Yeah, we gave him a reason, but we've got
Butterfly effect. that
we've got
bitch.
the means to change it, maybe quite quickly.
Yeah, it won't take us long.
Yeah, just teleport us
Can't
into
imagine.
Claxton's manor and I'll fucking inflict wounds on him.
Can't do that, but we do know where his manor is. It shouldn't take long to walk there.
Brilliant. Let me add him. 7d10. Lovely. Let's go.
I can summon this creature that'll go in and eat all his gold. Sure, you
Yeah,
love
that
that.
doesn't sound like a great idea.
If he truly is the problem, then we should go straight for him and ignore all of the riffraff.
Mm.
Did it go straight through his wall?
Allow,
You wouldn't even
allow
fucking see
your
it
lord
come
to
in.
take over with as little bloodshed as possible.
Mm.
If not, we should leave this place and get back on the hunt for whatever
Yeah.
Titus was in league with.
I'm keen to get to that as soon as possible. So if we can tip the balance of this fight as quick as possible, we can get back on the road.
Yep.
Well,
We can get up to Hylary.
fate has
within
brought me
the-
Fate has brought me to you, but my patience does not last long. We must get back to the good fight.
Yep.
The true fight. That's all I'm going to say.
And
So I'm yours until I get bored.
And so the night winds, and around the courtyard again lamps are dimmed and extinguished. And your new friends, these orcs and their giants, fall asleep, one by one, under a night sky for the first time in their lives, perhaps. And fatigue sets in, likewise with you. You have eaten. You have escaped a situation without really seeing what suffering there was to be had there.
It's hell, I can imagine.
Yeah, but I wanted to describe some shit for you guys, but that's okay.
You can blame Gav for having items that we could trade with Witch.
No, it's perfectly good. Perfectly good. If I had, really didn't want to give you the option, I wouldn't have given you the option. All choices have consequences, as we're seeing. But slowly you think to yourselves it might be a good idea to get some sleep.
Yep.
So are we planning to get the giant out of the building tomorrow, or are we there?
I'm
I think we
thinking.
might need that option. So prep the spell, just in case. It's the only way I can... If we choose to teleport, the only place I can teleport to is a room too small for him. Or back to the dwarves.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, didn't Willard say that you can't travel the streets alone? No one will bother us with him. We could just walk him out of it.
Well, yeah, fair.
You want to go out the blade door?
Yeah, but I don't want to see Lord Goss being touted as this, Lord holding this super weapon over the populace. Claxton will have got the rest of the populace on side.
Not a good look, is it? Comes
There's
in with
better
a
ways
giant.
to do it.
No offense, but we are 4 super weapons.
Well, yes. I'd rather deploy us and let these folk go. These, greenskins go free out into the hills.
Yes, but we've got to get them there.
Yeah.
And yes, my point is, I want
if you
to
can
have
make him. If you can make him small enough, I can dimension door him out of the city, but only if we get
Yeah.
500 feet as the
Mate, I
outside.
can turn him into whatever he wants for like fucking.
It just needs to
hour.
weigh as much as I can carry.
It's like going to be slightly
8
up
strength.
to him.
well, yeah,
Interesting.
I want to talk to all of them and decide what they want to do and give them choices, but not now. Next week,
Yeah.
because
We
they are
done?
free.
I need it.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. I want to see this next week, so when I think about it, I want them to be free and to be free to do what they want, and I have plans for the orcs. Well, a little bit.
Sweet.
And yeah.
And cool. Let's go to war.
Obadiah, you have your own bedroom in the Goss house. but you recall the locations of a number of guest rooms, usually unoccupied, and fortunately find them as such now. You're able to find beds for those friends who have stayed awake this long and settle people away. We'll leave the session there.
Mm.
Cool.
Thanks for playing, fellas.
Thank you for doing. It's good stuff.
Finally,
Yeah.
Grobnom knows what's going on.
Yeah. It's probably helpful.
Or does he?
Well, I mean, it's been like three sessions of just fighting, drama.
Yeah.
The first
You kind
time
of
we've stopped.
joined us for the ride. And yeah, it's the first time we've actually had a good conversation
Yeah.
with him. Yeah.
He
Yeah.
knows a version of what's going on. Yeah, our version.
Yeah. Yeah. He's seen the best of us. He wasn't
Yeah,
there for
well,
the best.
He's had visions from somewhere of things that are going on anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe he knows more than you do. I don't know. They are just weird, crazy man rambling visions.
Good night, chaps.
Yeah.
Good day. Yes. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Jed.